Yo, what's up, Sci Fam? It's your boy Nickel, and today we're going to do a Science Notebook page titled Sports Fitness. Now, you'll notice it's not spelled correctly, and that's because sport and fit are both acronyms. Really, we'll be discussing what are the benefits of regular physical activity and how can you actually improve your fitness. Now, according to the Mayo Clinic, exercise is good for you for many different reasons, like it can help you control your weight and prevent excess weight gain. It helps combat different health conditions and diseases such as stroke and type 2 diabetes, depression even, anxiety, and it helps you have stronger bones. It improves your mood, it boosts energy, and it helps you sleep. And it can also be fun, and it's a good way to meet friends or hang out with your friends or even meet new people. So let's discuss what it takes then to really understand our muscles and how muscles relate to physical activity. So when looking at muscular strength, we can split it into two different categories. One of them is endurance, and the other would be just pure strength. Okay, endurance. It's the ability of a muscle to repeat a movement many times. So it's like if you had to, for example, run a 5K, you're using your legs for a long time. You're repeatedly running. It's not like a sprint where you don't use your legs for as long. You just sprint from the start to the finish and maybe a 100-yard dash or a 40-yard dash or something like that. So endurance is going to be when you have to use your muscles time after time after time after time. Or endurance can also refer to if you have to hold a position without being able to stop or even rest. So you can think about rock climbing. If you're hanging on to a rock climbing hold and you don't want to let go and you're trying to figure out where to go next, you have to hold on with all of your might so you don't fall off. And you have to continue that same hold for as long as you need until you can figure out where you're going to go next. So if you have to hold a position, or if you can think about like a wall squat, a wall sit, when you're squatting against the wall, you're holding that position for a long period of time. So therefore, that would be considered endurance. Now, strength is different. Strength is the process of using some type of resistance. So you can think about like some type of added weight. So if you go to like a weight room, there's all those big plates and weights and dumbbells and kettlebells and all these things that are added weights, and people use that added weight to build strength. But you can also just use your body weight. This is what you end up using when you do push-ups or pull-ups. You're typically just doing your body weight, and yet still it can be a challenge, and you can build strength in it just by using your body weight without adding that extra weight. Now, if you can't even lift your body weight in a pull-up or in different types of push-ups or other exercises, then sometimes you can even find ways to reduce your body's weight in that force direction. So you can do push-ups by putting your knees on the ground instead of having your toes on the ground in a plank position. So there's even ways to reduce the amount of weight in a body weight exercise, so you can still achieve those types of exercises, and you can build up to being able to do your body weight, and then eventually maybe even add weight after you can do it with just your body weight. Anyway, strength is the process of using resistance to build more muscle, which means you can do more work, push more stuff, pull more stuff, get swole. So muscular strength can be, or the way that your muscles function is either in a function of strength, where you can do a lot, you can lift a lot, or you can push a lot, you can apply a lot of force, or endurance, where you can apply force over a long period of time. Now, if you wanted to improve either your endurance or your strength, there's a nice acronym that can kind of solve the riddle for us. So first, we're going to write here at the top, so we know why we have this acronym here, how to get strong. You can even write swole, how to get ripped. How do you get fit? All right, so the S in sport refers to specificity. And specificity means that you have to choose specific, yeah, that's where the root word is, and I spelled that wrong. You have to choose specific exercises that are going to relate to whatever your specific goal is. Relate to your goal. So if your goal is to run a 5K and you can't run a 5K yet, then you shouldn't be doing push-ups because you need to work on running that distance first. So you need to choose specific exercises that relate to whatever your overall goal is. If you're trying to do a pull-ups and you can't even do one pull-up yet, you need to do exercises that will help you gain the strength to be able to do a pull-up. So you want to practice pulling types of exercises. Yeah, you get it. All right, so specificity is the S. So choose specific exercises, and P means progression. So we can think about progress is like a stair steps, where each week, if you're doing exercises, you want to increase and constantly be progressing into something that's going to challenge yourself. So if you ran 1 mile every week for a full year, you wouldn't end up gaining strength at some point. You would plateau. You would end up at a point where you're not pushing yourself anymore. And maybe that happens 2 years down the road of running a mile every single day. But still, if you constantly do only the same things, then your body basically gets used to it. So you have to kind of progress. You have to push yourself and challenge yourself each time. The O is the overload. Basically, it can't be easy. You must push your boundaries. You must push your comfort zone. It should be a little uncomfortable, but you'll feel so good afterwards. So if you're constantly comfortable when you're exercising, like if it's easy for you to do 2 jumping jacks, yeah, that's not going to improve your physical fitness. It's just going to maintain what you currently have. So when you're overloading yourself to push your comfort zone, there's some different ways that you can do it. So this is where the FIT acronym comes in, F-I-T-T. The F is going to represent frequency. So this is one way that you could overload your body, your fitness, and your workouts, is you could do it more often. If you're doing push-ups, you could do 5 push-ups every hour for a day. You could do 3 pull-ups every minute for an hour. Something along those lines. You could mess with the frequency. So maybe you want to do 5 pull-ups every 5 minutes. Anyway, frequency. You can change the frequency. You can even pick up something 5 times instead of 10 times, or 10 times instead of 5 times. Whatever it is, you can change the frequency to overload your system. The I is the intensity. And the intensity is how hard you're trying. So imagine if you go for a 5K jog, that's going to be different than a 5K run. And a 5K sprint is going to be different than that as well. So you can constantly be pushing yourself in terms of the intensity. Also, you can do your exercises for longer. And by doing them for longer, you're overloading your system and you're pushing your comfort zone. Because maybe if you can only run for 20 minutes, try running for 25 and push the time. Overload your system. And then lastly is the type. And the type of exercise, you could do different types of exercises in order to push your system, to overload your system. So imagine if someone couldn't do a push-up, so they start by doing a push-up on their knees. Then they're able to do a normal push-up. And then they build up to a point that they can do lots of those push-ups, so much so that they can then practice doing a push-up where they clap in the middle of their push-up. That would be different types of exercises that are pushing their comfort zone and making them stronger and more fit. R, then, after you overload yourself, it's time for the recovery. And there's really 2 main things that you can do to really enhance your recovery so your body can perform day after day or week after week. The first is sleep. Get enough sleep. That helps your body in so many ways. And the second way that you can recover is to get good nutrition or put good stuff into your body. Your body is like a high performance machine, so you want to put high performance fuel into that high performance machine so that it doesn't crash. The T in sport is tedium, and this is the last part here because, you know, when you're doing all these exercises, it's important that you find a way to do a variety of different exercises. because tedium means like boredom. It means that you get uninterested in something. So doing a variety of exercises to avoid boredom and burnout is important. That way you can keep going and you'll stay physically active year after year after year. All right, I'll see you at the marathon when you're 55. See ya.